back to this special interview with Dr. Y.V. Reddy, who has just recently written his memoirs in Telugu, of course, but nevertheless a lot of gleanings, a lot of learnings from that book. Dr. Reddy, I wanted to ask you about your role as governor. Now, one of the first steps I remember you took was outlawing overseas corporate bodies. So we are now in the process of fighting black money. The first step of attacking black money came from you by outlawing overseas corporate bodies.
See, basically, let me start. I did not invent anything, I did not discover anything. I just acted upon what was virtually on record, namely the Joint Parliamentary Committee report.
Okay.
In the context of Ketan Parekh's scam, there was sufficient indication that two possible sources of round-tripping were overseas corporate bodies and participatory notes. Faceless, nameless, unknown investors could come and play. And much of it may be the black money which has gone out of the country. Now, given the evidence and the whole file was processed, but as soon as I came in, I simply took the decision in the evening.
Okay.
But I had consulted the Chairman SEBI because there are two routes and both had to be simultaneously stopped if we have to handle the possible incentive to take black money from inside, go outside and come back. So we did it at OCB. By next morning, the finance minister called, I explained, so we continued with that. Participatory notes, somehow, that was not banned, that was kept open. And then my battle against participatory notes, because that's a source of, because for me, it affects the external sector, it affects the integrity of the financial markets. I took care of the banking system, but the capital markets, they are still subject to participatory notes. Windows.
Yes.
Now, it is very important because two things. One, the black money fight inside is one thing. The black money which goes outside and comes back. So that's another type of black money.
Round-tripping. Yes.
Round-tripping. Now, it is not cash. Incidentally, it is going through the financial system. You don't take millions of dollars cash in suitcase and put it in the bank in Switzerland. It has to be through financial system, somehow or other, under-invoicing, over-invoicing. So it's not as though it's cash.
So the whole system becomes corrupt then?
Yes.
The internal, external trade gets corrupt.
Yes.
The coming back and the financial markets also
and
become
more importantly, the regulation of our own financial market becomes looser. See, if you want to go and open a bank account, they want a PAN. But you want to bring $10 million into India, you are prepared to take it without knowing the name. So that looks a little odd. So in a way, therefore, the fight against black money will not be complete unless these type of things also are tackled. So that's one part. And second, the assumption that cash is equal to black money is not correct. But unfortunately, this is something which is still not fully attended to. Those I read about the agreements, tax agreements which are being reviewed.
Yes.
That's one part of it.
Yes, the Mauritius and Cyprus agreements are.
It is an unresolved problem, and I think how many years? 13 years, 14 years?
But do you think unless participatory notes are actually banned, you are still leaving a window open?
Well, that's what I said long back. I have no reason to change my mind.
So actually, the country is now in the throes of, fighting black money in a separate way, demonetization. I need your comment on that. Why didn't you write the book on demonetization first?
No, actually, it's...
Can we expect a book?
No, let me start first. Any demonetization that occurred generally by itself, it takes care of the currency. So it becomes a fight against black money because the incidental benefit of getting information or making it non-valid. So it's demonetization and black money link is not direct, it is indirect and incidental.
Okay.
So that's one, analytically. And secondly, of course, there are a lot of other implications as we go along. So at that point of time, we had not thought about it. And now, I think I cannot make a comment, but I think I'll take your suggestion seriously. And some sort of
a book is coming.
We'll think about it seriously. But if I have to do it, I have to do it very quickly. Yes. So don't be surprised if you get a book. Okay,
so along with the English memoir, we can even expect a book on...
No, actually the English memoirs will take 3 to 4 months. If this has to be done, this has to be done before. But I'll try to do that. If I'm satisfied that it will pass muster, and if I can get a good co-author, maybe yes. Yes. You want to be co-author?
Well, I don't think I'm capable, but you will definitely have an interested reader in me.
Thank you.
But Dr. Reddy, still, do you think demonetization was the right way to attack black money? Do you think the pain equals the gain?
Okay, if I have to be analytical, conceptual, academic, and not ex-governor,
okay.
So the way I look at it is from a practical point of view. The pain has happened.
Yes.
Going forward, to the extent possible, you quickly relieve the pain. The more important is what you said is gain. How do you maximize the gain? And in that sense, therefore, I would say this is the beginning of handling the problem of black money. This is not handling. In a way, you have done a lot, gone through the pain, and to handle the problem, which is a complex problem, where both the administration, the incentive mechanism, the judicial mechanism, the legal mechanism, outdated for a modern economy.
Okay.
And the illegal, and not only that, inappropriate policies. Just I'll give you an example, gold smuggling. Huge black money was produced because you had an unrealistic policy of gold. So you have to look at unrealistic policies, unrealistic law. And punishment, increased punishment, but ineffective because it is never implemented.
So I don't think you're answering my question. If you were governor, would you advise demonetization?
But as I said, if at this point, I would say, why you ask me now? Then I would rather say, you ask me what we should do now.
Okay, no, now it is done. I agree.
So the way I would look at it is what will be done from now on. That's what I'm saying.
You determine whether this was worthwhile or not.
There's a lot more to be done. The point I'm saying is if your objective is...
What more?
A lot more to be done. And that lot more is, and that's where I'm coming. Black money is a result of several factors. The most important being there are two actors. One is the administration. The other is the people who are indulging in black money. Unless both are in some ways colluding, it won't happen.
It won't happen, yes.
So if it won't happen, now if you say that I'm fighting the black money and I'll empower the people, administration, then in a way you are weakening one party and strengthening the other party. So in a way, if there are two factors, then the attack should be simultaneous, symmetrical and synchronized. So in a way, therefore, what I'm saying is the next step should be how do you look at the whole issue of governance. Effective deterrence, appropriate incentives.
So attack the corruption and the role of black money in the polity,
yes.
And
polity
in the bureaucracy as well.
And judiciary. All three in the government. And you have an executive.
You accept political donations only by check. Is that your point?
Not only that, I think that's one part. That's one part. I think whether it is 1 rupee or 20,000 rupees, it doesn't matter. I think the way that's one part. That's the end part. But for instance, the idea that you should reduce the taxes, which is ridiculous because ours is the lowest taxes in the world from similar countries. Yes, we don't have inheritance tax. We don't have inheritance tax. Tax rates are lower than USA. Britain, there is no major economy in the world which has as low tax rates as India. So it is a problem of compliance. It's a problem of fairness. People in India think that the way tax administered is not fair. So you don't take tax compliance. So it's not the question of lower or higher taxes, but there is lack or the functioning of the government. The money that is being spent by the government is being misspent. So there are bigger problems. So, and similarly, judiciary, there is no judicial redressal. There is no contract enforcement. Even public sector doesn't enforce the contracts, I explained. So my point is that it is the black money handling it cannot be solved simply by destroying cash. It is a bigger problem.
Much larger problem.
And if this is the beginning of all that problem, then okay, it's worthwhile.
It's worthwhile.
Otherwise, the pain will remain. The gain becomes elusive.
Okay. Fair point, sir. Let's hope that it's not as elusive as that. Actually, you have said that one of your contributions in one of the chapters you've said is the contribution to the RBI annual report. In fact, now that becomes very critical. At the moment the question is academic, because out of the 15.4 lakh crore, we understand almost 15 lakh crore has come back. But if it had been, say, 14 lakh crore, it was expected that the Reserve Bank would give a 1.5 lakh crore dividend to the government. If such a dividend had come to pass, what would your comment be on this plan itself?
So basically, the RBI balance sheet is different from the other balance sheets.
Yeah.
So let me give an example. RBI, when there is excess liquidity, what do? They issue bonds, take the money in and pay interest rate. They don't require money. They create money. But they are paying interest to destroy money.
Okay.
That means they are incurring expenditure. So you find a situation where RBI is incurring expenditure
to destroy money.
To destroy money. It can create money and destroy money. So therefore the balance sheet does not drive. Balance sheet is a result of operations which are undertaken with macroeconomic objectives. First. Second, whatever the reserves happen, and that is within the public sector. So government and RBI in a consolidated balance sheet, it makes no difference to the rest of the world, whatever they do in between, as long as it is confined to in between. The transfer to reserve simply means for that moment you are suppressing the money. Transfer to government means you are giving the money to the government. If it is additional, then you are going to spend more.
Yeah.
Now by spending more, if there is addition to money supply, then the RBI has to come and destroy the money supply.
Yes.
So in other words, even if they give excess money to government, they will have to end up taking out the money because of the stability.
Dr. Reddy, thank you very much for joining me. We are out of time, but we are not out of questions. But remember, this autobiography in Telugu is only a teaser. The main book, the memoirs, are coming in English. And Dr. Reddy, I eagerly await that book. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for coming over.